So today is 5th of August, 2023. So let's have another wonderful study. And let me just share, and this time will work, our book. Okay. And I would like to ask Pablo to do our initial prayer, if he may.
Sure. Let's elevate our thoughts to our Master Jesus. Master, dear friend, once more, we are gathered together here in the quest of learning more about the gift of mediumship. May we keep our hearts and minds fine-tuned with the subject, and may we apprehend even a little bit of knowledge, and may we all be in this constant search of knowing more, asking and reflecting. So be it.
So be it. Thank you, Pablo. So we are continuing with the topic, special mediums. But when I like to remind you all that when he mentions special medium, is a different type of mediumship. No medium is special. It's exactly the opposite. Medium receives mediumship to practice in charity, and that's it, nothing else. Some mediums may decide to do something different, but that is on them. That is their burden, not ours. All right. So 186, it would be wrong to expect to receive good kinds of communications on every variety, just because we have a good writing medium at our disposal. I met over the years mediums that they really wanted to get only good messages, only receive good spirits. And I have a difficulty to understand that, because when we start to understand what mediumship is for, then we do not seek that kind of, only that kind of communication. We seek to help those that are in need. Later on, I found that some of those mediums, they were afraid about receiving those spirits, suffering spirits, for two reasons. One, people will think that I'm like the spirit. That's why those suffering spirits coming through me is because I also have the same problems as the spirit. And the other reason was, this spirit may decide to stay with me. I don't want suffering spirits to be around me. In both situations, what I could say is that a little bit more of a study on understanding of what is mediumship, what is for, how it works, the mechanism of the communications, would eliminate both misunderstandings, right? As I mentioned to you guys here already, for me, a serious mediumship meeting is paramount. And to have a mediumship meeting, you need to have a purpose. And purpose for me is to practice charity. So anything else, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because through my eyes, we could be using our mediumship to help others. And if you are using our mediumship for something else, I have a hard time to understand. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying my personal point of view. If I'm a medium, if I understand mediumship, what it's for and how it works, then if I truly understand, then I will see on the end of the tunnel what is the target. And the target is to help spirits who are suffering. Bear in mind that we are incarnated just now, but in a couple of hours, a couple of days, a couple of months or years, we may be not. And we may be in distress on the other side, and we may need mediums to help us out. If every single medium only wants to receive nice notes or do other type of work, and are not open to receive spirits in distress, ourselves, we may be on the other side in trouble. All right? So it's simple as that. Yes?
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Morning,
would you
morning.
mind just enlarging the text a bit? My eyes are not that good anymore, so.
My pleasure.
Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you, Munir. But as you now are reading better, what do you think about what I said?
Yes, I think you're correct, Guilherme. I think you're correct. I mean, mediumship is an instrument, and we should always, be at the service of the spirits and not the other way around, have our expectations and, yeah.
Recently, in one of the meetings, one of the spirits said, I'm waiting for so long to have that opportunity to talk. Then I asked myself, why is that? We may come back with some theories, but if you do not have the instrument to talk, you will not, right? If the instrument is busy doing something else, you will wait until one day when you may be the first one in line. So hopefully we will not be in that position on the other side. The first condition is undoubtedly to be sure about the source of the communications, which means the qualities of the spirits who transmit them. To be honest, I think this is very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. If you do have a relationship with a group of spirits for X amount of years, then you are able to recognize what they're saying, the way they're saying, the energy, sometimes even the tone of the voice, even through the medium. And then you feel more comfortable. Yes, I know where this message is coming from. And as always looking to the result of what is proposed or what is said. But let's say we're going to have a meeting after this study. If one spirit, elevated spirit, come and say something to me, I always have a question mark. Because spirits that are not very enlightened, then they can always say nice things to please our ears. And if we jump very quickly into whatever have been said or written, we may have, how can I explain that? We may have seen what we want to see. We may have listened to what we want to listen, but sometimes not the reality. All right. However, we must no less surmise the qualities of the mediumistic instrument offered to the spirit. We already spoken last week about the qualities of the spirit, of the medium, of the instrument, right? We must therefore study the nature of the medium as well as that of the spirit, because they are both essential elements for a satisfactory result. Let me see if I can give an example to better understand this sentence. I will never be able to give a message, to give a passage, channeling, psychography, psychophony of a spirit, enlightened spirit like Chico Xavier did. I will not. I know. because I am very, very, very far away from what Chico was. His morale, his attitude, his behavior in his life. Of course, from time to time, we may get a message that's a little bit better. But as a medium, look at it. I'm just using my name as a reference, okay? But Chico is over there, and someone or me, we are right on the bottom. And the thing is, to our enlightened spirit to be able to talk freely through a medium, this medium needs to be capable of the bare minimum. And if my attitudes, my choices, day after day are not in line with what we know, with what is recommended, it's very hard to this spirit to be able to manipulate the instrument, right? So, does it mean that I always have bad messages? I always have suffering spirits? No. It means that we all have the right and the means to improve ourselves, to be better day after day. And as we grow up, yes, those spirits will find a bit easier to send something through us, right? It depends on us and what we want to be. There is, however, a third element that is equally important: the intent, the inner thought, and the degree of praiseworthiness of whoever interrogates the spirit. Here we have another factor, not just the medium, but also who is asking the spirit through the medium. And something that is very, very important: the intent. Why do I want that answer? To do what? Why do I asking this? We may lie to ourselves, but we cannot lie to the other side. They see our intentions. They know what we are doing. And they will not entertain something, or let me correct myself. Serious, elevated, enlightening spirits will not entertain something that we want to do unless our intent is very positive. If I want to get a message to praise myself, to looking nice in the picture, some sort of spirits, some type of spirits may come closer to you and give what you want. If I want to get a message to tell me, yes, I want to read hands, for example, I want to know numbers to play in the lottery or something, then enlightened spirit will not come. So if you're getting something like that, it's not from high above. So we need to know first what we want, prepare ourselves to that intent, and choose carefully what is the intent of what I'm preparing myself to do. Because sometimes we even believe that we want to do something nice and it's not that nice. Hi, Munir.
Hi, Guilherme. What came into my mind was a famous example in Brazil of sometimes it's not the fault of the spirit who is communicating, but the person who's asking the question. And there was this famous case where the spirit introduced himself as Jesus. And then they said, oh, Jesus, started asking questions. And, he didn't look exactly like Jesus, but every time they said, are you Jesus? And he said, yes, I am Jesus. So at the end, after, talking to the spirit for a while, when they said, but you're really Jesus of Nazareth. And he said, no, I'm Jesus Smith. So he wasn't lying. He wasn't pretending to be someone else. But the question is, people perhaps wanted to believe there was Jesus himself, Jesus of Nazareth, giving the communication. So we also have to be, when talk about intention, it may not just be the intention inside us, but, some kind of pride. Oh, we have Jesus in our group. We have so-and-so in our group. And the spirit in himself or herself is not trying to disguise, but, feel welcome, get the attention and say, oh, okay.
Let me tell you something that has happened to me more than once. I'm a very curious person, right? And when I start to receive one spirit once, twice, who I'm talking to, please. And I heard more than once, does it matter? Have you never learned that what is important is the content of the message, not the name I will give to you? That was one. Another answer when I ask another name of another spirit, my son, I think you need to read more the spirit's book. Study a little bit more. So, oops. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right. So, doesn't matter the name. Really doesn't. But what is really, really important is the result. If the message is positive, yes. And I never heard about this case in Brazil, Munir. And
No.
no, but I've heard a few other cases where it's on the same line, And when the pandemic started, we just a minute, Christine. Yeah, let me just finish that. I'll let you speak. When the pandemic started, everything went on panic mode, right? The spiritists were no different. Actually, I was really surprised because I was expecting a little bit more serenity of the spiritist, and was not what we saw. We all became nervous and panic a little bit, right? And a phenomena was happening. Messages on WhatsApp, internet, YouTube, from very important, renowned spirits. And when we start to read the message, he would not say that. Instead of, in that message in particular, the one I'm thinking, is that instead of bring peace, he was bringing concern. He was scaring the people. I said, well, this message cannot be from this spirit. It's from someone else using the name. But as people were panicking, preparing to listen to everything because they were afraid to die, and that's a really surprise because the spiritists don't believe in death, right? Am I right? Yeah. So, but at that time, when there was a possibility to come the event earlier than we thought, we were prepared to listen to everything, to read everything, and to accept. Hi, Christine.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to say, just back to the Jesus thing. I guess, yes, you do have to be mindful of what the message is that's coming through. That's vitally important, I would have thought, and that it's not a spirit that's being quite frivolous. But I guess just the name Jesus, I'm sure a lot of people would stop in their tracks or wouldn't know what to do or say if there was a spirit called Jesus coming through, even though it was Jesus Smith. If I was in a meeting and that happened, I'd be quite amazed until it was determined that it wasn't the Jesus that we all know.
I agree with you, everything you said, and yes. Let me tell you one thing. Over the years, from time to time, rarely, you would see mediums receiving message from a bit elevated spirits. Means Bezerra de Menezes and a few others, very few. But the status of the medium after the communication was tremendous. Imagine if we would receive a message from Jesus himself, right? Jesus of Nazareth himself. I like to compare that like the electricity. I have my phone that I can only charge at 110 volts. If I plug in my charger on 220, I will burn the phone. If I plug the very same charger in 480, I will explode my phone. Why is that? Because the instrument is not capable of handling such energy, such level of electricity. And it's the same. It's the same. I'm not saying it would be impossible to have, but we need to be very, very good, right? It's like Jesus himself. He was medium from above him. He was capable of handling information from above. No one else from his 12 followers were receiving messages from above like him. Why is that? Because they were plugging their phone on 220 and they would burn the charger, right? So one day, but one day that is very, very far from where we are today, I believe, yes, we'll be able to. Nowadays, we are so low in the scale of evolution, of moral evolution. Tell me, raise your hand, any one of you here that passed one day without having a bad thought. I cannot raise my hand. So we are not prepared yet for that kind of blessing message, if you know what I mean. But we will. We will. If we do our bit, we have to work hard. We have to work harder if we want to have that kind of thing. The power is on us. If you want to, we have the power to do that, right? And that's why sometimes, going back to Menezes, so many people, I want to receive message from Menezes, I receive message from Menezes. And when you read the test, cannot be. Because how will you know cannot be? Because when I compare the content of those messages received by mediums like Chico, Divaldo, for example, and other mediums that are nice in the scale, and we compare to the message received by Joe Bloggs, it's not the same spirit. Well, but we all know that the medium may interfere with the communication and use his own words. Yes, of course. We are not evaluating that. We are evaluating the content of the message. For example, this spirit in particular never would come to us saying, stop working, stop studying, do something evil, in other words. So if we hear something like that, we know straight away, be careful. Something's coming that's not very positive. But anyway, let's continue a little bit. This is easy to understand. In order for a communication to be a good one, it must come from a good spirit. In order for such a good spirit to be able, and the capital letters, able with capital letters, yes, able to transmit it, it must have a good instrument at its disposal. Something came to my mind here. I am a medium, and I'm only dedicating for mediumship 1 hour a month. That's what I was able to organize in my schedule, is 1 hour a month to practice my mediumship. I'm very good. I'm a very nice person. I'm very into it. But sorry, I can only give you 1 hour a month. Then I have someone else that can give 1 hour per week What would be easier? Only considering the disponibility, the disposal of the medium. The one that's working 4 times more. Because mediumship is organic. You need to practice. You need to get used to it. You need to be available for it. If in parallel, the person becomes more available and start to change herself or himself to what would be desirable as a being, as a human being, then is a jackpot for the spirit. This person is available when I need to work, to do charity. She or he is studying. Every time he's about to do something wrong, he stops and thinks. Every time when he does something wrong, he recognizes and do everything he can not to do it again. And he's available. Which one do you think the spirit will get closer to work by? I think it's obvious. It's like an industry. It's like a job, a professional lives. We have people and people. Which one you like to work? The one that's more committed to the work, the one that's more available, the one that is always willing to learn something else. Go an extra mile if you have to. Remember, we are spirits too. It's the same way the spiritual world will see the way we are. Right? And I see a lot of people studying. A lot. And that's very good, by the way. Study is just the first part. We need to practice. We need to work. Hi, Christine. Christine, you're mute.
Sorry, it's just a bit hard to negotiate here. I just wanted to say that you may have, a person may have the intent and really want to do as much as they can, but there's a saying that life gets in the way. And if you say life gets in the way, couldn't that really be that that's your expiation or your atonement, and therefore you can't be available? You're on a path, you're on a certain path, so therefore you can't be available to be that medium that perhaps that spirit wants to get through to.
My answer is not for you. My answer is for myself. I always trying to find an excuse to justify when I'm not available. I'm not available because I had to be with my son. I'm not available because I had to work. I'm not available because this weekend I need to travel. I'm not available because I'm tired. I'm not available because I'm sick. That's okay. And I always try to find an excuse to justify myself. And I ask all of you, have you ever stopped in front of a TV for an hour watching a soap opera or something that was really useless? Have you? I do. And honestly, too often. Can I choose not to be in front of my TV watching that soap opera or else and do something? Yes. Yes. So are you telling me not to watch soap operas anymore? No, not at all. We need a balance. And we need to be comfortable with that balance. If you are comfortable with the balance where it's an hour a month, so be it. What should we expect beyond on the other side with an hour? What should I expect with 4 hours, 8 hours, what else? I'm not saying what is right, what is wrong. The important is The important thing is that everyone is happy with himself or herself. But we have lots of time idle per day. We all do. We all do. That if you really want to do something, we can. I'm not saying to the father to ignore the son, to the mother not to give attention to the son. I'm not saying not to work. I'm not saying not to cook. I'm not saying, no. Evaluate your time that's wasted. The other day, our spirit says in one mediumship meeting to us, the time wasted will never come back. Stop wasting your time. And he said that to me. And I'm blaming Facebook, Netflix, everything. It's not helping. It's definitely not helping. But beyond that, it's my choice. It's really my choice. And I know why he said that to me. It's the balance. It's the opportunity we all have to evaluate what we are doing over 24 hours. If you're really that kind of person that never stop yourself in front of TV for an hour, oh my God, you're on the good path. You're very busy, and I hope you're really giving 100% time to your family, because family is also a great priority, if not the first one. But we need to remember there are families and families, and the universal family that we all are part cannot be ignored. You do not know who was your son, your daughter, your husband, your wife in your previous incarnation, do you? If he knocks on your door and you're too busy watching Big Brother, for example, because it's very cultural nowadays, isn't it? Perhaps you're not giving attention to your previous daughter, to your previous son. He just knocking your door asking for help and you were too busy. That's down to everyone. Another hand. Christine, did you raise your hand or was it raised before?
Yeah, I raised it again.
Okay, all right.
Sorry. I just wanted to say, like, I'm comfortable with the level of study I do. But I also, every day, I get messages that are I know it's family, and it's don't do that because we believe, I don't know, something's going to happen, or that's not the right way to go. And I'm committed to it, and I find that was the correct response. So every day I have a message from family members, I would say, that are around me, and I don't have any skill with writing. I don't have the skill with saying that I see spirits all the time, but I've certainly seen my mother and father. But I every day I have something that comes through that helps me through that day. So for me, I believe that's a way of practicing or experiencing mediumship. Would that be correct?
I would say is a way to experience. To practice, we need a safe method, a regular safe method, so then you can develop your possibilities in a safe environment. And receiving messages, you have to see what you do with them. Because just receive them, I'm not saying about you, I'm saying in general, right? By the way, when I say something here, I never target one person. I target everyone so we can learn from something, right? And I received a message in my drawer. I received another message in my drawer. What is this message producing on the end of the day? And then if I develop my mediumship in a meeting, for example, in a safe, organized, methodological meeting, one spirit will come asking for help. He will find help. So experience mediumship without a positive result on the end, if I say like that, it's just an experiencing. It's just experiencing the phenomena. And I think, it's me speaking, right? I think if you do have that possibility, if you do have that characteristic as a medium, I would suggest to try to find a place where you could start to develop that in a safe way. And a lot of people will say, but there's no center here in my town. I hear that a lot here. Well, we do that virtually too. And we have very good results, by the way. So, and then we're going back to the disposal of the person. I am available to start something else. Because I heard as well many times, ooh, this day really cannot be another day on the week. And sometimes on the beginning, we used to adapt everything to help that person. And we change everything we did for that particular day where when the person in particular said that he would be available. Hey, I'll use a different name here. Hey, John, we managed to organize everything and our meetings is not Thursday anymore. We are doing Mondays. Oh dear, Monday I cannot do either. Oh, but you said, no, but I forgot to say to you that Monday was busy too. All right then. So this is a viability. And when we define what we want to do, let's go a step back. We are able to identify that what we have is mediumship. Good. We, through studies, were able to figure out what a mediumship is for. Now I need to make a call. Do I want to use my mediumship for good or not? I'm assuming a natural answer will be yes. So next step, I need to find a place, a safe place to develop this mediumship. Only then the person will be able to truly identify if the mediumship is in a degree that will produce a type of phenomena that can work in the mediumship or not. Because we all are mediums. We all have that level of sensibility. I can hear a little bit, I can see a little bit, but perhaps that's it. I will never go to another step because that's it. But quite often, 99% of times, when I do have a person with this kind of characteristics, listening, reading, writing a little bit, he or she always can step up to something else. But this is a commitment. I'm here every Saturday. I'm here every Tuesday. I'm here, I'm there. It's not like when I don't have anything else to do, I'll be there. If that's what is the mindset, I recommend not to start. And once again, I'm not speaking about anyone here. I'm speaking in general. If your mindset is that when I'm available, I will be there, don't start. Don't start. Don't play with fire. Because it won't be positive. Won't be positive. But if you do want to develop, and yes, I will be there. Every day, I will be there. Likewise, when we do the gospel at home, it's 10, 15 minutes. Do it that particular day, every day, on that particular Monday, Tuesday, or whatever you choose a day, in that particular time, you will see the results. You will see the results. But I'm not here trying to convince anyone. I think I said many times that I think he wants to participate too. Let me see Who has a dog crying here? The calendar team, I cannot see. Anyway. I cannot identify whose mic is open that has a beautiful dog. I love dogs. If you don't mind, switch off your phone, would be nice. But anyway, that's gone. And now I lost the book. Oh dear. Where's my book? Okay, it's back. And in order for it, oh, sorry, Christine, did I answer your little bit your question? I use your question to go in, and then I start to go so many different places. But now I'm back. Did I answer you, or still something missing? Okay. In order for it to want to transmit it, the objective must suit it. Again, objective. What is the objective of the message? What this message will bring to us, right? The spirit who reads the thought surmises whether the proposed question deserves a serious response, or whether the person who formulates it is worthy of a response. So this is another thing that's a bit complicated, because we all think we are worthy, otherwise we will not be asking, right? But then it's an inner work we have to do to see if we deserve the answer really or not, right? If the question is serious, they will always answer. There is always an answer. Even if the answer is like, you're not prepared for this answer right now, but you have an answer. But if you are not serious about what you're doing, chances are they won't respond, or if you have a response, may not be for this from the spirit you think you are getting. If not, it does not waste time sowing seeds among the stones. Again, if the medium is available, committed, serious, is doing their bit, they will be there. They will be there with you, because they will work together with you. But if you are not, they will not be there. There will be spirits, but the spirits that are really pushing us to work, to do good, things like that, they will not be there. What is when frivolous and mocking spirits take actions? Because since they are little concerned about the truth, they do not analyze the subject as they should, and they are generally as little scrupulous about the means as about the ends. So for the person that asking a question, the person needs to be concerned about the objectives and what is going to do it, what is the goal. But the person that is the vehicle, is the medium, also needs to be concerned, what I'm doing with my mediumship, what I'm using my mediumship for. If both answers are positive, that's good. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes we're not able to give positive results because of our intent. Let us summarize the principal kinds of mediumship in the form of a sort of synoptic table comprised of those that have already been described in the preceding chapter, indicating the paragraph number in which they are treated in more detail. We have grouped in different mediumistic varieties according to the similarities of cause and effect, but this classification is in no way absolute. Interesting that every time when we read a book, when we study again and again, sometimes we find answers for something that when we need it, we could not find. I think I mentioned to you guys here in the past that a couple of years ago, someone totally dismissed the possibility of having different type of mediumships. And here we go. Kardec himself is telling us the classification is not absolute. All right. Some are found. That's why I always give an incentive to people to study and study again and again and again. Right. By the way, if you are expecting, hoping, and working mediumship, or if you are the indoctrinator, you have to study for life. It's not something that you read a book and I'm ready to go. We study for life because we have to be prepared to help people. And then many people are asking, oh, he's strict about what he's saying. I will make you a question. You have a daughter or a son. Will you take your daughter or son to a doctor? To a doctor or a hospital where the professional that will be there in front of you is study every day? Or do you prefer to take your daughter or son to another hospital in front of another professional that after the university, he never opened a book again? What would you prefer? Same thing, right? Same thing. Some are found quite often, others, to the contrary, are rare and even exceptional, a fact which we have been careful to point out. These later indications were all supplied by the spirits who, furthermore, reviewed this table with particular care and completed it with several observations and new categories so that we can, here again, new categories means the category is not cast in stone. Something new may come. So that we can say that is now entirely their own work. So what Kardec was presenting here was not his work. It was just the interpreter. It was just the go-between to bring the information for us. When we have deemed it worthwhile, we have highlighted the textual observations by using quotation marks. Most of them are by Erastus and Socrates. So if you see some comments coming from one or another, right? So, okay, we still have a couple minutes to go. You guys are very quiet today. Synoptic table of the different varieties. We may divide mediums into two large categories. Physical effect mediums. Those who have the power to induce physical effects or ostensive manifestations. So he speaks more about that on the item 160. Intellectual effects medium. Those who are more especially able to receive and transmit intelligent communications. See number 65 and forward. All the other varieties may be directly linked in various degrees to one or the other of these two categories and in feel fit into both. By analyzing the various phenomena produced under mediumistic influence, we see that all of them include a physical effect of some kind, and that such effect almost always appear along with an intelligent effect of some kind. This sentence is really putting every spirit in the same box, right? And it's right to say that. But when we go deeper into the characteristics, then we cannot only have two categories. We need to think a little bit more differently. It is something difficult to establish a dividing line between both categories. But this does not present a serious problem. In the classification of intellectual effect mediums, we have included those who can more especially serve as intermediary instruments for regular and continuous communications. You can see more on the item 133. There's something here that I think is interesting, right? he's highlighting about the difficulty to identify between one and another. There isn't a single medium that is 100% equal to the other one. If we decide to put all of them in the same box, that's on you. But as a human beings that we are all different too. So sometimes it's not easy to identify what is what. And sometimes even when we think we identified correctly what is what, a little bit later, we'll see that, oops, that's a bit different. Or the mediumship itself starts to develop to something else. It does happen quite often too. Varieties common to all types of mediumship. Sensitive mediums. Individuals who are susceptible to sensing the presence of spirits through a general or localized vague or physical sensation. Most of them distinguish between good and evil spirits by the nature of the resultant sensation. Who in this room never felt like a goosebump from time to time without any reason? Could that be an example of this mediumship? Could be. Could be. But of course, we have to evaluate too many things, right? It's 2 degrees outside. If I'm going outside, I'm chilling, I will have goosebumps, and there's no spirit there. It's because it's really, really cold, right? Due to the resulting fatigue, delicate and overly sensitive mediums must abstain from communicating with violent spirits or those who cause a feeling of tiredness. I don't know. What do you think about that, Munir?
Sorry, Guilherme.
Right, okay.
I'll read it. Yeah, read it again.
Due to the resultant fatigue, delicate and overly sensitive mediums must abstain from communicate with violent spirits or those who cause a feeling of tiredness.
Yes, I've seen in the past mediums who are indeed very, very sensitive, and I think this the interaction with the violent spirits may actually draw their energy, you know, and in the end they feel really, really tired. I've heard of that. I mean, I haven't seen mediums like that who are extremely sensitive and, you know, delicate, very susceptible to, you know, the impressions left by violent spirits or spirits with a very you know, heavy energetic charge.
Before I make a comment, Munir, I think Rafaela had yeah, go on, Rafaela.
I just wanted to add, this is my personal opinion, and I don't know if that's true or not, but I understand the reason why very sensitive mediums, though, that can even feel the spirit touches them. So, for example, they will feel a spirit touching their arm or their hair or their face on without some sort of preparation, just on a natural day-to-day course, without being in balance. Just, for example, on a balanced mind, doing something on a day-to-day activity. Those are very sensitive. I think the reason why they shouldn't do it is because spirits with a very heavy force, those violent, and they can cause physical harm on the medium. So this sort of medium, they're very sensitive. They are wonderful for writing work or for other kinds of mediumship because they're prepared to absorb the full message that comes from higher. But because their fluid is so intense and is so easily absorbed, they can also damage their own perispirit if a spirit with a lot of aggression comes and channels through them. So they are like very beautiful, very delicate flowers in a way. But this is what I believe. This is my belief. I don't know if that's true or not. It's what I used to see that with my auntie.
Okay, let me jump.
She was more like that.
Let me jump on this one. No communication will damage your perispirit. Okay, I need to make that clear to everyone that your perispirit will not be damaged because of a type of spirits communicating through you. Okay, why I'm saying that? I don't want people to be afraid or scared of, oh, I'm not going to try to be a medium because I may damage my perispirit. It does not happen. Okay, and the sentiment we have, the tiredness, the weight, is because of the fluids of the spirit. Couple minutes after the communication, this sensation should go away, right? And oh, sorry. Go on, Jack.
I have many questions.
So you can wait then. Let me finish. So now that we established that we will not damage our perispirit, right? What I need to tell you all, and that I will always say, is that practice your mediumship in a serious, controlled, and well-known environment. If you practice your mediumship without any guidance, you may be surprised because may lack some information, may lack some support, and you may be on your own. But if you do that in a serious, controlled environment, I don't see a risk. Munir, I saw mediums that are a bit more fragile, even physically, receiving spirits that really, they are really not pleasant. And yes, when the communication was over, sometimes the fragile person was sweating a little bit. And then a couple of minutes later, she was okay. You know,
so, and it's emphasized that overly sensitive. It's not just sensitive, and that's overly sensitive.
Mm-hmm. But the concern that I have is when someone reads something like that, ooh, I'm not going to engage in anything like that because, you know, I'm a sensitive person. I don't want to be in shambles afterwards, you know, and that is not what happened. And Jackie, you have 2 minutes to make a question.
You have answered half of it, but my question was, this study in particular, you know, you've explored the importance of the commitments, the work that a medium does and the commitments in the study. And it's not something that just blossoms, it's not something that just happens, it's something that you develop, you work on. And this sensitive medium then for me became a little bit of a sensitivities can be looked at as it's different for each person. And then if a medium is working on developing and doing the work correctly and appropriately and studying, then the protection is there. And this understanding of this sensitivity should perhaps come as the time, as the work develops, as the medium learns more about their abilities, and as the group, the work that's being done, therefore that sensitivity then becomes a little bit relative in the sense that should the worker stop the work because of this word sensitivity? Sorry, I think sensitive is very relative. My understanding might be incredibly different from yours, and my vision of what is sensitive is very different. So yeah.
Let me first try to bring something into light here that we all went to see Barbie on the movie, right? The Barbie movie, and we all cry, oh, poor Barbie. I'm a very sensitive person. No, this is not the type of sensibility we're talking about, right? Mediumistic sensibility is related to your degree of sensations you may have. And once again, if we do want to start to practice mediumship, we need to go to a place that is safe to start step by step, right? How can I know if I'm sensitive if I never practice in a safe environment, right? So we have to be careful where we choose to go, for example, and then study, commitment, everything you said, Jackie, and also what Rafaela said makes everything completes what we want to become, right? So sensitivity is something that we all have, and we learn to do it properly, right? It's like when I became a mom, I'm a new mom. The first couple of days I have that thing in my arms. Oh my God, everything is so sensitive for me, right? But we learn even to say no when we have to. So as life, everything can be learned if we do our bit, right? Jackie, I'm 1 minute over. I'll give you another minute because I've spoken too much today. I'll give 1 minute too, so we can extend a little bit. Go on.
No, I think you've answered it, to be honest. Thank you so
Really?
much.
Okay, so then, guys, thank you very much for your presence today. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. But before you go, let me do a quick prayer for all of us. Father, Master Jesus, it seems so difficult to be a medium. I guess it's because we don't see the outcome, what we receive in return. I guess that the materiality of our lives makes things difficult too. But I believe that when we find ourselves in front of that beautiful possibility with your assistance, everything is worthwhile. And we become so complete. So then, Father, and my brother, I ask your assistance to show all of us the path we need to go. And if the path is through what we heard today, practicing charity to help us and the others on the way, give us the strength and give us the opportunity to do so. Give us all a wonderful weekend and a marvelous week. So be it. So,
Thank you.
thank you very much for you all. Looking forward to see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Christine. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.